story. Will it be the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help me God. Let's find out. Good afternoon, Dominica. Good afternoon to you. I did invite Mr. AG to listen attentively and to see whether you'd want to make or chime in the discussion this afternoon. As usual, we will welcome your phone calls. Let's see what happens in the next 14 minutes. This is the Talk on the Block. If it's on the block, we'll talk about it. Let's take a break. We'll come right back. Right back. You get more for what is there? Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Yeah, shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. What is there? Shop at SDA. Yes, family, customer friendly. With free locations, it's so convenient. And our price is there. Madam, that's where you belong. So tell your mama, tell your papa, shop at SDA. Tell your son and your daughter, shop at SDA. Auntie, nan, and cousin, friend, open power, all of them. Grandma, grandpa, couple, neighbor, girlfriend, boyfriend, side, what? Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Shop at SDA. Check us out at Pottersville, High Street, and downtown Rose.
If you know quality, then you must know the manufacturers of Dominica's finest rums, Belfast Estate Limited. Over 80 years leading the industry with exceptional standards and formidable customer service. We present the manufacturers of PB Rum, Soca Rum, Red Cap Rum, Cask Rum, and the signature Belfast Estate Rum Punch. With island-wide distribution daily, Belfast Estate Limited has cemented its mark as the distributor of choice for products like Eldorado range of rums and creams, Kubali Bear, Corona Bear, Guinness, Root Boy drink, and of course, Sunblast juices, Topper Snacks, Vitamalt, and Pine Hill juices. Call the office at 440-7032 or visit the distribution outlet at Jimmy Dominica. Follow on Facebook or Instagram at Belfast Estate. Belfast Estate Limited, your leading manufacturer and distributor of rums in Dominica.
We are open 7 days a week with the top of the line products. Well stocked supermarket and pharmacy, health and beauty care, fresh produce and meat prepared daily, hot and cold kitchen, ready to go meals, sandwiches, salads, and desserts at your fingertips. Easy access, located on the bayfront, environment friendly, and our staff are approachable and ready to assist. Have you figured out who we are? You got it. Fresh your one stop. Fresh market,
the Bryce and Company. Here, Rice and Company. The only company I know with Bryce was cooking butter and back and neck. Now, with the last valley short, I said Bryce. In the old, the plus nefla, where you have a roofing material and seamless guttering. Yes, 24 gauge governors, all colors. Ever open Nipu gas peel agent. They program the computer to give you the exact size you want. And the seamless guttering, aluminum, that can better withstand the elements you have in an easy way. So no leaking after a while. And so much more. Bryce and Company, the by 8 bank close to the old mill at Enfield. Telephone 617-2468.
If you know your favorite store, dial it now. 612-1253. That's Mega. You can rely on Mega for some real deals on name brand clothing and electronics. High quality, low price. We are a wholesale and retail store located in Calabishi, right on the main road. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram as Mega Deals Dominica. Like our page. Check out our stuff. Call us. Visit us. Would appreciate that. Come try it on. Love it. Buy it at Mega Deals. your one and only online and brick and mortar store. Mega Deals is also on wheels. We make it convenient for your shopping. We deliver straight to your door. Email us at info@megadealsda.com. Rely on Mega Deals for some real deals.
But do you really have money to burn? What about your commitments? Have you paid your bills? What about your telephone bill, your light bill, your water bill? What are you going to use to pay your loan? A truck of stones? NCCU wants you to continue to make wise financial decisions that will not leave you stressed. Think of your commitments. Commit to your commitments. Commit to saving. And then you can have some money to burn.
It's 1:24 in the afternoon. We're counting down to the 1:30 hour. Let's see if our guests will arrive. In the meantime, let's take a few calls. Hello, talk to me. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Max.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't realize I'm on air. This is Christian.
Crispin, I'm actually calling you to get an update as to what's going on in Venezuela. But have you been monitoring because it seems that this attack is imminent. Have you been monitoring before we get to the next show, and maybe we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, well, he has to go to Congress for authorization to conduct war. Which I don't think will be a problem, but he wants to avoid going to Congress. So what he's doing is treating it as enemy combatants. If you use the word enemy combatants, then you don't need to get authorization from Congress to go to war.
So he's trying to avoid going that way.
Right, and I think he has the majority in both houses of Congress. So, but it's to convince the senators. That's critical, to convince them that they won't get bogged down in a war that will keep them. It will cost them money to do that.
But it appears like he's very serious because I mean, come on, we have so many warships in the Caribbean region. What are they for? For show?
Well, he said that he's made the decision, and we're just waiting now for it to be implemented.
Do you expect him to send in the troops? I mean, or he would just attack from a different.
What I expect in the immediate short term is airstrikes on military facilities.
No, somebody just sent. Go ahead. Yes.
And also remember that the CIA is active in Venezuela, and they have authorization to kill. So the president's life is in danger if they decide to start any kind of on land intervention.
Somebody was asking me just a short while ago: Is Maduro in Venezuela?
Well, that's a good question. He certainly can't fly out. The U.S. Planes would any flights out of Venezuela that is not sanctioned could come under fire from the U.S. The way I look at it, the only option for him is if he has to make an escape for his life, it would be through Colombia.
It's that serious?
Yeah, and that would have to be by land. Now, what the Venezuelan military has decided is that if the U.S. intervenes, then they will fire back, and that they don't have the firepower to match what's in front of them on the doorstep. So they said that they will become guerrillas. They will have a guerrilla war, and that could be that could bog the U.S. down in Venezuela for years. So while we are speaking, there's still efforts at diplomatic solutions and not going to war. But I am not convinced that all of that military might, has been amassed in the Caribbean Sea, and then for it to come to zero. I don't think that is the thinking of the White House and then the people who are helping to make U.S. policy.
Well, speak to me as it relates to the implications for the rest of the Caribbean, because a lot of criticism have been leveled at the Caribbean leaders. Basically, people are saying, well, they're not getting their people ready for this eventuality. What's your take on that?
There will be definitely implications for a region that are negative. One, Matt, we are in the midst of the cruise ship
season,
and that could slow down cruise ships coming into the region. That's one. But the one that is most concerning to me is that if navigation is slowed down, the Caribbean depends on the U.S. for food. So all the food that you have in the supermarkets could just disappear one day if we're not getting supplies. So that's another problem. Then the third problem, which is a big one for not only for Venezuela but for the rest of its neighbors, is the onslaught of refugees streaming from Venezuela. I mean, they have millions of people, and they already lost about 7 million people as refugees.
So we would see more refugees streaming across borders on both the east side and the west side and to Trinidad. So refugees is a problem. And then, Matt, long term, if this happens, the Latin Americans will be so upset with the U.S. that it will sour the relationship between the Latin American countries and the United States for years to come. So, so these are some of the things that I see, Matt, and reading different reports. I think I really would want to say this is the zone of peace notion is very, very important, but it's not enough to say but zone of peace.
So, what do you think that the Caribbean leaders at this time should be telling their people? Get ready for
They
war?
should begin. They should begin to tell the people that if there is a war, these are some of the things to expect. And one of them, Matt, is gas. Gas for cars and gas for cooking. I think still a lot of the cooking gas comes from Venezuela. If that is the case, then we will have a total shutdown of gas supplies for kitchens.
So you're saying, Crispin, from your knowledge there, that we should, almost like a hurricane, be prepared for any eventuality there.
I think so, Matt. And
Or
even
is it a case that we should not panic or panic?
well, I think we should prepare for both eventualities, not to panic and to panic. And if the governments are not in that mode, I think they will be in serious problems. Matt, can you imagine if our food supplies suddenly stop for a few weeks? What that would mean for the supermarket? Because if you take a country like Dominica that supposedly is an agricultural country, I go to the supermarkets and I see they're selling stuff that come from outside the region, which is things we can grow here, like tomatoes and such things. And if it's a supermarket you have to go to get that, and it's not made in Dominica, then we're gonna have to worry about food supply. Then the question of our cruise ship tourists, whether they will come if there's a blockade in the Caribbean Sea. Matt, as the more I think about this, what concerns me is what the U.S. will do after Venezuela. Will they turn their guns on Cuba? That conversation is going on in Washington.
Somebody's saying that we should start, making our coal pots and collecting wood. But it appears, from what I just observed, that the leaders are walking and treading carefully, walking on needles, afraid to say anything that might affect their relationship with the U.S.
Right. Not one of them will stand up and say. I think that what the Caribbean leaders should do, a few of them should make a visit to Washington to talk to President Trump. He likes that kind of he likes when people come to his table. I still have not seen any initiative by the Caribbean countries except for making statements about zone of peace. I don't know what their diplomats are doing in Washington for them, but really they need to come to Washington and speak for themselves. We are in the 11th hour,
So
Matt.
are you saying diplomacy might still work at this 11th hour?
Yeah, well, Mr. President Trump said that the last thing I saw, he said, and that was day before yesterday, that Mr. Maduro has asked to speak to him. And he didn't say whether he was going to agree or not. But he did say that President Maduro has made a special appeal to have a conversation, at least. So they're talking. The special envoy for Latin America, Mr. Grenell, would like to pursue a more diplomatic approach to this. I'm hearing that hardliners in the State Department are opposed to that approach. And it seems like the White House is siding with those hardliners.
It's a situation to watch and watch closely. I heard a report yesterday from Trinidad indicating or suggesting that the fishermen in Trinidad are feeling the squeeze because they can't travel too far out. They're afraid that they'll be bombarded.
Right. Venezuela is only 7 miles away from Trinidad, 7 nautical miles. So it's not too far. You can certainly, in a small boat, you can make that. They shouldn't risk going anywhere close. They will be destroyed. And Matt, there's a whole discussion going on in the U.S. as to whether it's legal for the president and the U.S. Navy to destroy ships that they don't even know who is on board, when they could simply just encircle the ships in the sea because they have enough warships there to stop any boat. But they're not doing that. They're just determining that any boat that comes, there's a drug boat, and they're going to destroy it. And they feel that they can get away under U.S. law by doing that. Under international law, there might be some issues. But, Matt, the problem with international law is the one of enforcement. Yes, there are these international laws, but who's going to force the U.S. to yield to what the law says? There's no one country on earth that can do that. So I always say in international politics, might is right. The U.S. has that might, and they will use their might when they need to use it in their interest.
Because I'm quoting a CBS interview there. When asked by a CBS News whether the United States is headed to war with Venezuela, Mr. Trump said on Sunday, "I doubt it. I don't think so, but they have been treating us very badly, not only on drugs." He repeated his unsupported allegation that Mr. Maduro opened his prisons and mental institutions and sent, all his gang members to the United States, a charge Mr. Trump has made since his campaign. It also continues that asked whether Maduro days and the president of Venezuela, his days are numbered, and Mr. Trump said yes. So he's basically thinking that the days for Maduro is drawing near.
Yeah, you see, Mr. Trump, sometimes he blows hot and cold, but you have to know what you're doing is you're dissecting the consistent things that he's saying, that it doesn't change. You see where he said that Maduro's days are numbered?
Yes.
That should tell you what his thinking is. That alone should tell you what his thinking is. So sometimes he when he talks to journalists, he doesn't give the full picture. He's a guy who wants you to keep coming back to him for questions and answers. So, but if you've been following him long enough, you will know the things that's dear to him. And one of the things that's dear to him is that they would like to bring an end to this government in Venezuela. Remember, in the first term, he did plan a military intervention into Venezuela, but he ran out of time. This time, he's doing it at the beginning of his presidency, and he has a lot of time. Now, they're definitely after the U.S., the Venezuelan oil, but Venezuela has other resources that are important. One of them is lithium. The other one is iron ore. The third one is copper. They have all of these free minerals, and they have other rare earths. I've been telling you, Matt, before about these rare earths. The competition between the powers has now shifted to the arena of rare earths. So whoever controls the most rare earth has the capability to build sophisticated new missiles that we have not even seen yet.
Well, as I said to you, Crispin, it's something that we have to monitor in the region, and the regional leaders should speak out and tell the people what they should prepare for. Time it seems to be drawing near. When they will attack, we'll have to find out because time is not on our side at this point.
Time is not on our side. As the clock ticks, Matt, when I didn't think that this would have lasted almost a month, but the U.S. over that month they have put in enough arsenal of weaponry in the Caribbean Sea. I have even seen photos of the warships passing not too far from Dominica's waters.
That's true.
Or in Dominica's waters, going south towards Venezuela.
I saw some photos like that maybe 2 days ago. Somebody sent me some photos of these warships passing, on the horizon there. So it's a very serious situation.
Yes, it is. It is. They're saying that since that is the largest buildup of U.S. Military forces in the region since 1989 when they invaded Panama.
Again,
We're seeing a lot of weaponry and you know there's also the involvement of the Russians and the Chinese. All of that is adding pepper to the pot. So
somebody was suggesting yesterday, maybe it's the beginning. I don't want to alarm anybody, but somebody was suggesting there in international circles is maybe the beginning of the Third World War.
Well, Matt,
are we going too far?
The Caribbean Sea has seen wars over centuries. And here we are in the 21st century, and we're seeing another war of rivals. And this is not just about Venezuela. This is a fight of the powers. And the three powers here are United States, China, and Russia. That is a rivalry that's playing out in Venezuela. And we don't have all the pieces, but we know that there are these ingredients.
All right. I'll tell you what, we'll talk again sometime. We have some very important guests in the house. So we'll continue our conversation sometime on this Venezuela U.S. action. I see Maduro preparing his troops, so something may be on the horizon. Let's find out. Thank you, Crispin. Thank you. Our guests are here. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back to introduce the president and the vice president of the Dominican Bar Association. Stick around.
Where at home improvement, building supplies for you, kitchen appliances, even home decor too, lumber, lawn, all your garden supplies, plumbing, welding, electrical supplies. Visit Do It Center at the former J. Nassif Hardware location on Goodwill Road. Call us at 255-6890. Do it. Center.
During the hurricane season, if you are evacuating, leave early so that you are not stranded by flooded roads, fallen trees, wires, and traffic jams, and make sure you have enough fuel in your vehicle and follow routes and highways. A message from 295 FM Radio.
'Cause I'm on my way. KFC delivery is here. Just place your order at www.kfcdominica.com, Facebook, or WhatsApp 614-2633, and your order will be delivered to you. KFC, it's good. 'Cause I'm on my way.
It's officially white potato season in Dominica. To celebrate, Bloombox is giving you the chance to win a 196cc 4-stroke 6.5 horsepower tiller valued at over $3,000. Wow! You heard right. Simply make a purchase of $75 or more between October 13th and December 27th, 2025, and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win this powerhouse machine to make your next planting season even easier. Winner will be announced on December 29th. Visit us at Bloombox, Goodwill, and Roseau. Terms and conditions apply. Let's bloom together with Bloombox.
All you, I just meet Goldwyn in Roseau again. Same place outside Flossie's. I tried to dock in, but you had time see me. Well, story start again. Million, lot of my power with us, huh? Salcafella, I said the same thing you doing, shopping at Flossie's, and you don't have to tell me the same thing you tell me last time because I busy. It's to hear him way. You reckon? About my pocket, the boy. I won't tell you that I save money in food and drinks when I buy quantity. I save more. Oh, shucks, man. Good when you're still telling me. I know already. Tu paga respect him, eh? But it can him up here for Palais. I will tell all my friends from London, US and Dominica to come to Flossie's. Right next to the Rosa Market. Open Sunday to Saturday. Flossie's can't do it to you.
All right, Dominica, as promised, they're here. Many people thought, no, they will not show. The two prominent lawyers are in the House, representing the Dominica Bar Association. This is Nellis Knight, the president, and her deputy, Mary Roberts. Let me say, by way of introduction, a special good afternoon to you guys. Good afternoon, Nellis. Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, Matt.
Everybody good?
Noel's night, Didier.
Didier.
You want my husband to divorce me this afternoon, Mr. Peltier?
I don't think he will. He has a beautiful wife. I don't think he knows what he's about. Or he knew what he was about. Noel's night, DJ. And Mary Roberts. Do I have to add anything else to the Roberts?
Mary Oriel Roberts.
Oriel. Okay. We have it correct now.
Good afternoon to your listeners as well, Matt.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Matt. And good afternoon to the listeners of Q95.
All right. You're most welcome. This week, we want to, of course, hit the ground running this afternoon there. This week, the Bar Association came under tremendous pressure. And we heard, of course, one gentleman, Mr. Andy Jolly, basically, as some people say, exposing the ills of the Dominica Bar Association, or lawyers within the Bar Association. Let's just begin and tell us, Mrs. Nellis Knight Didier, what is the Dominica Bar Association about? What is the objective, if you will?
Well, the Dominica Bar Association is a voluntary organization that members of the bar, persons who have been called to the bar in Dominica, may opt into. So basically, they may choose to become members of the Dominica Bar Association.
Mm-hmm.
Our role essentially is to represent those members, look out for their best interests, represent the profession on a whole.
Okay.
That's our role as a voluntary organization, as a voluntary association, represent our members as a whole. And because we are members of the bar, the peculiar nature of the Bar Association as well is that we also defend the judiciary. The judiciary cannot defend themselves. They cannot come on the radio or put out a statement. If a judge comes under attack, he cannot do that. He or she cannot do that. So the bar also stands for the judges and represents the judiciary also, defends them if they are under attack, represents them in case they are facing any issues and that kind of thing. Our role also is to educate the public on matters of the law, matters of civics, matters of the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
We are also there to defend the Constitution. This is our role, essentially. This is our role. Much was said. You said the Bar Association, the members of the bar came under tremendous attack. I listened to your program on Tuesday, and I heard an attack by one person.
Okay.
And I think 3 persons called in and gave some attack. So to say it came under tremendous attack, I'm not sure. But I mean, as
you think I'm painting a broad brush when I said tremendous
certainly.
I think that is what you said yourself, Matt.
Okay.
Using a broad brush to catch
But
everything.
meaning the amount of calls and persons have concerns about what is happening within.
I took a note, Matt. I think there were 3 calls
Okay.
to indicate or to make a complaint about those lawyers. There were 3 calls, Mr. Jolly, and I think you as well, Matt. I think you
Of
as
course.
well. Yes, you
Yes.
joined in and chimed in and indicated that about 80% of lawyers.
I think that was the opening salvo. It was fired by Matt, saying about
Yes.
80%, suggesting that 8 out of 10 lawyers would be, I don't know what the word was, I think you said dishonest. But just to follow up with what my president said, in addition to all of that, we have to explain that, in fact, all lawyers called to the bar are not members of the association at this point.
So how many
in time.
members are you?
We have about 30-something.
I would say closer to 40.
40.
Out of how many
members.
lawyers in Dominica?
the lawyers practicing in Dominica between, I would say, 60 or 70 practicing lawyers actually called to the bar are higher
100
than
and
that,
something, because some of them
But not all are members.
not
no.
all
The
are
majority
members.
are, but not all. Yeah.
Okay.
And we also, as an association, we also, in taking care of the members of the association, we also plan continued legal education for our members.
Are you satisfied that you are educating the public enough on, say, the Constitution, for example? Do you think that you are having educational programs enough to educate the public about the law?
Well, I can say that under the presidency of, I'm here to speak about the presidency of Miss Noelis Didier Knight, and
Okay.
before that, other presidents. But in the last term,
Mhm.
we started a program, Legally Speaking, right? Where we spoke to issues which were topical at the time, we thought, and where we sought to educate members of the public.
Mhm.
And it was very well received. And before that, under previous presidents, we have, for example, launched, we haven't had it in some time, a Telford George's annual lecture. We have had more than one. We discussed, we had our former Court of Appeal Justice, Davidson Baptist, giving a seminar lecture about the death penalty and that type of thing. The bar's also done things like in the last term, we had a public speaking competition for
High school
students
Mhm.
about AI and the effect of artificial intelligence on professions. And most recently, we did a panel discussion
yeah.
on the
We have
then
panel
topical-
discussions at least once a year.
At least once a year on the
Mhm.
Riot Act.
Yes. This year we had it on, the topic was on the Riot
Riot Act.
Act, and that was coming off of the
And during my,
protest that took
during my
place.
presidency,
Yes.
we also had something on the Riot Act, the panel discussion on the Riot Act. More can be done, yes, but like we said, it's a small association. It's 40 people who are busy practicing, I would think, and we always want to do more, but it's a limit of human resource and time.
A few lawyers I've heard and have had discussions are basically reluctant to join. Is there a reason why they are not part of the association?
Well, I cannot speak to those who are reluctant to join and as to their reasons,
Mhm.
but I can say those who do join, I think they contribute and they also receive benefits as well. There are benefits to membership in terms of the education that you receive, the continuing legal education programs, and so on. Usually, these things are free to members, whereas persons who are not members may have to pay a fee. Any events and functions that we have, also members come in free versus those who do not. And even in terms of our membership, we are also members of the OECS Bar Association, the Organization of Commonwealth Caribbean Bar Associations, the Commonwealth Law Association as well. We are members of all of those organizations. In that way, we receive educational pieces from them, and also we are able to contribute on an international scale as well.
One is, I don't know how you're going to react to this one. It has been said, and I'm sure you've heard it, that the Dominica Bar Association has no teeth, if you local parlance there. How do you defend that?
Yes, I was really hoping, Matt, yesterday on Tuesday when you indicated that the Bar Association is, I think Mr. Jolly indicated that I said that the Bar Association was non-functional.
Have you said that?
Not at all, never. I mean, those words would never come out of my mouth. That
Okay.
I said that the Bar Association is non-functional.
Mr. Jolly, I hope you're listening.
We are
Yeah.
functioning
Okay.
as much as we can as busy professionals.
Right.
As Ms. Roberts indicated, we are busy, and our first priority is to our clients. That's our first priority. I cannot put aside my clients' work and do Bar Association work, but it must come in. It is important, and we are quite functional, as we indicated with the panel discussions that we have with the continuing legal education, with our public education series, our pro bono days,
Yes.
and so on. We are quite functional. And I mean, I think, Matt, I heard you on one occasion actually defend the Bar Association when one of your callers was indicating that the Bar Association was silent on a matter.
No,
And Matt said, no,
I've
not
heard it
at
before.
all. Yes, the Bar Association is quite vocal on several matters that come up. So I was really surprised there on Tuesday to hear you chime in. I didn't know that you would be so easily persuaded, man, Matt, that the Bar Association is not functioning. We are certainly functioning. But in terms of our regulatory role, and I think maybe I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that that's what you were trying to say in terms of our regulatory role and our ability to discipline lawyers. No, we have no teeth where that is concerned. What we can do, and complaints are made to the Bar Association about lawyers,
Mhm.
is simply try to mediate a solution. So we can call the lawyer in question, we speak with them, we speak with the complainant, we may even bring them together and try to mediate a resolution.
Mhm.
But we do not have a disciplinary arm. We are not regulated by law to discipline lawyers. Only the court can do so. So in terms of the ability to discipline lawyers or to disbar lawyers, the court in Dominica can do so by law. So it is it's wrong, it's incorrect to say that lawyers cannot be disciplined in Dominica.
They can.
Or that
Have you heard any lawyer in Dominica being disbarred from?
No, I have
And
not.
why
It does
not?
happen.
If not, why not?
And I mean, we are not alone. There are several islands. No lawyer has been disbarred in St. Kitts and Nevis. No lawyer has been disbarred in Anguilla. And these places actually have Legal Profession Act.
And more lawyers practicing.
Indeed. But I think no lawyer has been disbarred in Dominica because no one has yet brought it to that level. And probably it might be that they may not have sufficient evidence.
Does that mean that
nothing's
going on that's wrong? Does it
Sorry?
mean that? Does it mean that nothing that's going on is wrong?
Matt, we live in the world, I don't think there's any profession, anything in the world where there's nothing going wrong, where something is perfect, where everything is perfect. I don't think so.
What about, I just want to go back to that question. A lot of accusations that some lawyers, I wouldn't say our lawyers, some lawyers are corrupt. How do you defend that?
Matt, I cannot defend that. I cannot defend that.
Is that the case?
As with every profession, as with businessmen, as with the world, there are corrupt people. As with in politics, in law, in medicine, in business, there are always bad apples. There are always bad apples.
But what we want to emphasize, like the president said, that nothing has gone in Dominica to disbar or suspend anyone. The law is there. For you to get to that point, someone has to bring it there. You have to have an active litigant. The Bar Association cannot be the active litigant. We are not a formal company. We are an association of a friendly society. And the organization, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court Act, makes provision.
I'm happy you're saying that, because a lot of complaints, I was talking to a lawyer just yesterday or day before yesterday, a lot of complaints silently have been made about lawyers. But the lawyers themselves are afraid of taking on these cases in Dominica. So a colleague and someone make a complaint about your colleague and you say, boy, Mr. is part of the club. I wouldn't take that case against him. How do you defend that?
No, I would say, in 2025, as we indicated, there are over 50, 60 lawyers practicing in Dominica. I would say you must be able to find a lawyer, if not more than one lawyer, who will take your case against another lawyer. If that statement was made 20 years ago or 30 years ago, I would say possibly, because you would find that it is 15, 20 lawyers practicing, and they might all be close, in a sense, not a club, but they're colleagues, they're professional colleagues, and we share a professional relationship. It may be difficult in those circumstances to sue you. But now with the number of lawyers who are practicing, I would find it very difficult to believe that one is not able to find a lawyer to sue another lawyer.
And you believe that today?
And indeed, if a lawyer has done actions which are unethical, dishonest,
and warrants action,
a lawyer should take up the case. They should take it up for the benefits of the client. They should take it up for the benefits of the profession as a whole.
Very interesting there, because just yesterday, as I said, one lawyer was saying, man, I've had complaints about this lawyer, and I choose not to go to that way because I don't want to embarrass my colleague. So there's some sort of reluctance on.
I would say, as with all cases, it is not just if a lawyer is being sued. As with all cases, the first option should be to try to settle the case. That should always be the first option, is to try to settle the case through mediation, negotiation, to try to settle the case. Because most times you'll find that what a victim wants is they want compensation. They want recompense. They want to feel aggrieved, to feel vindicated. Sorry. So
they want to be vindicated. They want compensation.
They want
and
compensation.
Sometimes they don't want to drag everything before the court. If you can settle before that, and our rules make provisions for that. Do
it's
mediation.
Actually mandatory now. Yes, that you must offer it. That you must give the option of mediation. So I wouldn't say that that
that's a fair comment.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think it's fair?
I heard Mr. Francis was here yesterday
Uh-huh.
as well. I think he also indicated that you should always find a lawyer who would be able to take up the case for you.
All right. Okay, so let's go to the
And even in terms of the affordability as well, some persons will say, well, I cannot afford another lawyer to take up this case. We have the legal aid clinic as well that is there that you can go to and indicate that you're not able to afford a lawyer, and can one be assigned to me, please?
Let's go to, of course, the much talked about legal professional bill that has been dragging this for many years. Why the reluctance, though? Why the reluctance of the government? I'm adding the word the government.
I cannot answer why there is a reluctance, or if there is a reluctance. What I can say are the facts is that there have been several versions of the bill that have gone back and forth between the Attorney General's chambers and the Bar Association over the years, over the past many years.
I reviewed it during my presidency. It started under Mikey Bruni of blessed memory. We sat, we suggested whatever amendments we have. What we are doing now, for example, the last bill that was submitted to us for review, we reviewed it in detail. We had several meetings, sessions led by our legislative review committee, where people attended and we suggested amendments, taking into account and looking at other legal profession acts in the Caribbean. Because what we would have done 10 years ago, some things in practice, what other jurisdictions recognize is that certain things should be tweaked or should be drafted in certain ways. So all those things have been submitted, and
it takes time. It takes time to review and to get it right. And if we ask, even our sister islands where there are legal profession acts, they have to amend it so many times, because how it is done originally is not working in the way that it ought to work. So it is something that requires a lot of care and a lot of attention to get it done right. But we have advocated for it. We want it. It's required. The Legal Profession Act.
And in terms of some of the bills that you've overviewed or viewed, any concerns? Any particular concerns as it relates to the bill?
The Legal Profession Bill?
Yes.
I would say there are a few. There are a lot of details, a lot of things in the details that we want it changed. So, for instance, the bill, one of the major things was that it was attempting to regulate the Bar Association itself without making membership of the Bar Association mandatory. So we wanted that fixed, so that either membership ought to be mandatory, in which case it can be regulated, or it's out altogether. So lawyers will be regulated, but not the association, one or the other. But
let's take a phone call. Are you the caller? Yes, somebody's there.
Yes, Matt. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the wonderful guests in the studio. I know they work hard to get where they are right now, and I'm just asking them, please, for God's sake, please stand for Dominica. I mean, on the beginning of Mrs. Didier, when she first opened her conversation, she said it's a voluntary. So I used to think that the Bar Association was a structure by whether the Caribbean or something in government that all lawyers supposed to be part of it. But the fact that she says it's a voluntary, now I start to think different. So they don't really they can only do but so much. It's through, personal, they decide to stand for Dominica, do something. But I think some attorney would not go and be part of it because apparently they know what's going on and what they're doing, and they don't want to be part of people that will put them on blast. So I think that's what it is. But ladies, I'm asking you all for Dominica's sake, because we all have an expiration time to come on this physical existence and leave. But please stand for Dominica. Dominica need you all, and you all are mothers, and I embrace a lot of women in position, and we have to do that. Maybe it's going to take you all to make the difference in Dominica, and we will stand with you all. Me personally, the trucker in the United States, I will stand with you all, and so many others. We have to take a stand for Dominica. Dominica has too much potential. What is going on in Dominica is not all for. So I'm listening, and I love you all.
All right, thank you very much for your participation there. He loves you all.
Also, in response to that the structure of the Bar Association being a voluntary organization is not unique to Dominica. It happens all over the world. in several states in the United States, for instance, the bar associations, the American Bar Association itself, they're voluntary organizations, and the regulation and discipline of lawyers are done in most states by the court, as it is in Dominica. And the courts sometimes have arms or committees who discipline and regulate lawyers. So it's not unique to Dominica at all. With the Legal Profession Act that is on the table right now, the Council for the Disciplining of Lawyers would be a part of the Bar Association, and that's okay. That's fine. That's another way of doing it as well. It's okay. But I wanted to point out that it's not something that's unique to Dominica.
On the telephone.
Commonwealth.
Hello, are you there, caller?
Hello, Matt.
I'm here.
Good afternoon to your panel.
Yes.
I need to ask a question there to educate me, please.
Thank you.
Now, the Mrs. Dide said their role is to, tell us about the Constitution. And then she also said that the judiciary, they usually speak for the judiciary, because if you bashing the judiciary, they can't come out and say so. You understand? So they speak for the judiciary. But what I want to ask her, not her, no, I mean, I'm saying her, but generally. Now, recently, a few months ago, we had a demonstration, right? And then we had some senior citizens that were arrested and said they were charging them for tumultuous whatever it is. Now, that law was long ago, I can remember the year. But I also heard that Mrs. Dide came out, she spoke on that, and she gave her views on that, about that whole law. I cannot go into that. She know what she said. So what I am asking her now, in that position, can the Bar Association, say for example, when you're taking that case to court, can the Bar Association tell the DPP and the Attorney General, well, I don't think that should go to court because ABC is what it is, or would they be out of place to ask them to do that? Thank you.
Yes, we would be out of place to do so. I mean, we can't interfere in the DPP's discretion and what she does. We certainly cannot do that. But what we can do, which we have done, is to hold discussions. We held a panel discussion on the Riot Act and its constitutionality. So there was the AG was invited and he gave his views on that. We had Geoffrey later, and we also had the DPP of Antigua chime in as well on that topic. So that is our role, really, is to bring the matters to the fore, open it up for discussion, let different views contend, so that when the matters are brought up, then hopefully there will be change. Hopefully there will be a movement towards change.
I want to ask a question. I want to rewind and ask the question again. Why there's been a reluctance or dragging of feet to implement the bill?
Yeah, well, as I indicated, I cannot say whether there has been a reluctance at all, and if so, why. What I can say is that it has gone back and forth between the AG's chambers and the Dominica Bar Association, wherein we've had to tweak, propose, and repropose. And I think right now it is with the AG's chambers. They have had our
I've actually asked them to listen, so you maybe listen at this point.
So maybe he might be able to see. I think the last time I followed up with the AG's chambers, they said that they are working on it. They're working on it.
How many years ago that was?
No, that's months.
Months?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, this is recent. Yeah.
Somebody's saying there in a comment that, well, if this legal profession bill was passed in Dominica, we'd lose 50% of the lawyers in Dominica.
I don't think that would happen at all, because as I indicated, all of the other islands, save for St. Vincent and Dominica do not have the legal profession bill. And in the other islands, you don't have any great rise or increase in lawyers being disbarred, at all. In St. Lucia, for instance, I understand one lawyer was disbarred over the last 10 years. I don't think that there would be a great rise. Just like now, you don't find many cases going before the court, as people can do. They can do it within their purview and their right to do right now, to take a case against a lawyer and have him disbarred before the court. And that hasn't been done. So it is not something that's not available.
So don't point to the lawyers.
Citizen right now.
You can point to citizens because they're afraid of taking that matter to the court.
I don't know if they will be afraid of doing so. They ought not to be afraid. You should never be afraid of doing anything. If you're aggrieved, you should do something about it.
So are you just by your comments there standing, say, with Mr. Anderson Jolly for taking this matter to court?
Taking which matter to court?
Yes,
if Mr. Jolly has a case, of course he should take it to the court. Most certainly. And I think I told them so. I told Jolly's Pharmacy so, that if they have their evidence and it's a serious claim that they are making, so if they have the evidence, then certainly they should take it to a lawyer and do what they have to do.
On
The
the
lawyer
tele-
would advise them, and if they have no case, the lawyer would tell them they have no case.
All right.
If they have a case, they certainly should.
Hello, talk to me, yes?
Well, it's night day in the day.
Yes.
Mr. Pelpe, blessings to you on the other Empress there, blessings to you all.
Yeah, Mary Robert.
I've always said your fears does not serve as a repellent. If anything, it draws your fears to you, not away from you. I want to give thanks for the courage and the honesty, for standing for truth, justice, and righteousness. Just a quick question. I have a lot of things to say, but I'm not going to say it because Matt don't like me. Just what would have merited before a matter is settled in court about an attorney, and maybe you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the absence of a court matter, what would merit for a lawyer to be disbarred? Based on how many complaints, what would have merited? Because I listened to Dr. Jolly, and that is a serious situation. When things like that happen, do the Bar Association do its own investigation? If I get in my wires crossed, they will do. How will you go around about investigating a member of the bar whose hands are soiled maybe more than once? And what would it merit for him to be disbanded? That's the word, disband?
Disband.
That's the term?
Yeah.
Is this bad? But
what would it merit for him to be thrown out of the Bar Association or her? Let us not prejudice the matter. Because to me, it cannot be like welcome to the Hotel California. You're welcome to come, but you can never leave. So what would it take to just throw people like that out before a court matter or several court matters are settled? What do you need to throw somebody like that out of the association? Thank you.
I think you answered. You got the question.
He said out of the association. I don't think that's what he wanted to say. He probably wanted to say
Like legal friction. Yes.
Right? Because I think the president has repeatedly said that it has to be a court matter, and it is done under our law, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court Act of Dominica, and it says that any 2 judges of the High Court may, for reasonable cause, suspend any barrister or solicitor from practicing in the state during any specified period, or may order his name to be struck off the court roll. So it means that it has to be a court matter.
Has to be a court.
It has to be a court matter.
And not 1, but 2 judges.
2 judges
to hear that matter.
I mean, let's take the phone calls are coming in.
But what he's asking in terms of what would be required, what is that reasonable cause? And it would be things of like dishonesty, unethical behavior, that kind. Of course, those things would be. It is those things that if your a client has hired you to do a job and you have failed to do it, or you've acted negligently in doing it, it is. Yeah.
Hello, are you there?
Yes, Madam. There. Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to your lawyers who are there to represent their lawyers also. But Matt, is a thing I always say, lawyers are always for lawyers, teachers are for teachers, doctors are for doctors, nurses are for, no matter how wrong they do, you will always find they will cover up for one another. No matter what mistake they make, one will cover up for the other. So that is how it is. They know, between themselves, they know the person do wrong, but, they are so scared that they will not tell the person straight in their face, yes, you're doing something wrong, and you need to shape up yourself. This is what we need. No matter what a minister, a nurse, or whatever it is, you do wrong, you got to tell the person straight in their face, you are doing wrong, and you need to stop it. That is what we need to do in Dominica for us to have a fair play. Thank you.
All right. So have you had the occasion, any of you, have you had an occasion sometime in the past to tell a lawyer, what you're doing is ethically wrong?
Yes.
You,
But
you said
I
that?
have sat on the Bar Association for how many years? I mean, when I came in, Mrs. Prevost was president, was secretary of the bar, and from then I joined, and I've been under the presidency of a number of presidents, and we have had occasion to call in people and to speak with them. And the president here, Mrs. Noelis Dide, I forgot your Dide. I don't want your father to give you up. Dide has met with lawyers whenever we receive complaints from members of the public. We had a small committee in place to meet with people of senior lawyers and people who practice, to speak with people, to try to mediate whenever those complaints are brought.
And to answer the question even more directly, quite outside of the Bar Association, as a practicing lawyer, I have had people have come to me and say, so-and-so, I took my money, he hasn't done it. I call, I speak, I write, no answer. We file a lawsuit. So I have done it myself.
So you're
Yes.
taking your
Yes. And guess
And other
what?
people are doing it.
And guess what? Even after doing it, the person still had no hard feelings against me. Even after, because
you're doing your job.
it was okay, I'm doing my job. They understood it. They knew what they did wrong, and they settled with the person at the end of the day. It was after the suit was filed, but at least they settled.
I'm hoping
You
this settlement, and I mean, Mr. Jolly seems very angry about his own. So let's see what
he
goes
needs
there.
to do whatever he has to do. But if you have a grievance against a lawyer, you do what you have to do. You go to another lawyer and you try to deal with it that way. But what I think you ought not to do is try to exercise vigilante justice. You should not do that. That should be your very, very last resort, if a resort at all, because there are options under the law. Apart from going to the police if you need to, going to a lawyer. And I heard Mr. Jolly saying yesterday that they had a lawyer who was doing something.
And then he's also said he went to the
Yes.
police, and the police have not done anything.
Yeah, but your lawyer is doing something. So then, let it play out. Let the lawyer do what they have to do. But I heard two of your callers coming in and speaking about this vigilante justice. As we say in Dominica, you never want your right to pass for your wrong.
True.
If there are options to deal with it under the law, and there always are, pursue those options to the end, and don't try to take the matter into your own hand at all. I want to advise and really stress that to your listeners, because one or two of the calls I heard coming in yesterday about the vigilante justice and violence, taking your matters into their own hand. I think I heard someone speak about somebody should be vaporized from the. I mean, these are things, and these are dangerous things, Matt. And even as a journalist, Matt, I mean, I don't think we should allow this kind of talk to go out there into the public. We have to put a halt to those things and keep our country as a peaceful country. I think that's really important to say, man.
Let's take a phone call. Helen, are you there?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Hi, Matt. My interactions with the lawyers, I must say, have been very good. Consultation, I've had lawyers deal with me. Imagine I stop lawyers on the road and ask them and the answer.
Okay.
But I have to single out my lawyer. He died, Michael Gurney. That man is just a darling. I miss him every day, Matt. Honestly speaking, I do. But I've been now with this journalist at Legal Aid, Matt, this young lady. I'm not going to do something something happened to her to see how she is. I'm going to tell Miss DJ Knight and Miss Robert. This is the gem of a lawyer. Miss journalist, hats out to her. Miss journalist, take a bow. And I'm giving everybody their flowers while they're alive. Honestly speaking, I've had one bad, not right, in a lawyer, but I will, all the good the other lawyers have done, so it's just in the shadow when it comes to that. But one question I have to ask, if a client is guilty, right, they suppose a murder, and he wants to plead guilty, will his lawyer advise him to plead not guilty, or do you advise your client to plead not guilty when you know or we know they are guilty? And number two, is there can we use, or can you lawyers use video footage as part of your evidence in a court matter? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Interesting question.
Very interesting question. Yes. To answer the last question first, our panel discussion last year was actually on that.
Yes.
The admission
I saw
of
it on Facebook.
I saw it on Facebook. Is it admissible? Yes. But about the admission of electronic evidence, videos, photos, that kind of thing into evidence. And it was a very good panel discussion. The DPP was on and so on. So it is possible, yes, to put in your video, but there are certain criteria that you have to have. There's a procedure that has to be followed in order to do that. And the first question, that is a question that all law students ask when they're at law school. If my client is guilty, what should I advise them to be guilty?
Should I advise to be guilty?
And the response always is, are you the jury? How can you determine whether the person is guilty or not?
That's basically not for you.
It's not for me to decide. But Matt, of course, if you see that the cards are against your client and there's no, you can, of course, advise them,
and do mitigation.
It might be the best idea to plead guilty, and you do mitigation to try to get them as little in terms of punishment as possible.
That's possible. Somebody's asking me to ask my guest to list some examples of unethical behavior. I think you spoke to that earlier. Just repeat it for that.
Yes. In terms of your negligence, a client asks you to do a job and you fail to do it.
Or do it properly,
you have, of course, taking a client's funds and appropriating it as your own. Of course, that's conversion. A theft, really and truly, that would be lying. Basically, we saw that a lawyer was this bad. We saw a story where a lawyer was this bad in the States recently because they told a client, or they misled a client to believing that their matter was far advanced, whereas they had not even filed the matter as yet. So being dishonest with your client is also an unethical behavior.
All right, somebody's saying citizens cannot afford to take a lawyer to court because they would be dragging it for years and years until the citizens would have to drop the case. Is that a situation sometimes? And that,
the system is slow. There's no two ways about it. The system is slow. We cannot make an excuse for that. The system is slow. So whether it's a lawyer you're suing or anybody else, sometimes the system is slow and people do get frustrated with the system at times. That is something we all have to work on within the judicial system. We have to work on it and see how we can move matters within the system.
I'm happy you answered this way. What do you think generally about the court system, the justice system in Dominica?
It works, Mark, but slowly. It works. The wheels of justice turn slowly. If we had a few more judges, again, we're a small island state, our resources may not be so, although we have the resources to do what we want to do. But
if you have more people probably in the administrative part of things,
it would move a little quicker.
To move things along.
Yes, I think the lack of resources there is a major factor. If we had more judges, it would work faster. If I had more clerks in my office, it would work faster. So I think that's a major part of it. That's what it is really.
Oh, the telephones are coming in. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Hello, good afternoon, Ms. DJ and you, Matt, and the
Yes, good afternoon. Yes,
I heard Ms. DJ say that if client cannot afford a private lawyer, there is illegal aid there to assist.
Yeah.
Now, I would like her to tell me whether there is a fee for consultation or another fee for helping to take the matter before the court as illegal aid. Thank you very much.
I don't think so. I'm not a lawyer, but do you have to pay a consultation fee to go to legal aid? That's what the caller is asking.
To legal aid, I don't believe there's a consultation. I'm not sure. Don't take me on that. I'm not sure, but I don't believe so. Legal aid is for persons who cannot afford.
There's a minimum fee that may be.
It might be an administrative fee, possibly. I'm not sure.
All right. Hello, talk to me on the telephone, yes?
Yeah, Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm listening to it with quite keen interest.
Okay.
And I heard the lawyer said about something about talking about vigilante justice and whatever, but the lawyer must appreciate it for a client to have a matter in the hands of an attorney he trusted or she trusted. It's a land transaction. 17 years. 17 years. The lawyer has the client money and up to now the person cannot get justice. That is not right. Now, I had an experience with a lawyer. Well, my mother had an ex and she approached a lawyer for her son who was got stabbed at his back by a guy. The lawyer asked her $3,000 to represent that matter in the low court. My mother go up, down with the lawyer. Nothing has been done to the extent whereby the guy jumped bail and the guy flee the country. When my brother learned of that, he told my mother, well, if the guy jumped bail, the guy not going to come back. get the money from the lawyer and whatever. My mother go to the lawyer, a senior lawyer, a lady, senior lawyer. The lawyer giving her go wrong. She asked my sister, well, I'll follow up with the lawyer for her. She tell my sister bluntly she not refunding me money. I went there myself with my mother. And when I went there with her, she said she had another, she can't believe us now, come back this Friday. Come back this Friday, she said she had to go to court. I come back on the Monday, me and my mother. Lo and behold, while we there, the lawyer, she sit down and she called the police, hear me well, She called the police and she reported to the Tony police scheme. She's telling the police that she did not have an appointment with her son. Just show up in her office to cause confusion and whatever. So I tell the police that it's distant from the truth. Okay? She's saying to the police that the case went up for case management. Or I say, madam, it's not the police that you have to tell that. You are representing my mother in this matter. You are supposed to say to her, show her, okay, look, this is the case went up for my mother, look, the file, this, I have done this, it is out of my hands now. You had said nothing like that to her. And call police on my mother. Call the police, on my mother, My mother at that time was 67 years old, a lawyer, and have the money. And is when I warn her, because I tell her, ma'am, you see how peacefully my mother and I come to your office. And after the guy has drum bail, so it means that the matter cannot go through. Whatever it is that you have done, take your money and refund her the balance. That is all she is asking for. You call in police for her. You think that is right, my lady? You think that is right? I say, ma'am, the only reason you see I come there is because I know my brother. And if my brother come at that office, you will never have time to leave up that telephone. And I tell her that and I walk out of the office. I tell her, you must pay back that money. You must pay back that money. My brother subsequently was held for some marijuana possession and he was reprimanded. When I told her that, she go right at Supper and she go and bring the money for him. She go right up there and bring the money for him, So you see, sometimes it's only when you almost resort to that. That is when some of them just understand how it is. Okay? They don't know the pain that people have to feel to want to get that money. Most of them, you have to sign the money and give it to them, before they even pick up your matter, And then you have the money in your hand, and that is what you're doing to the people. That is what you're doing to the people, So it is coming to this stage. I do not support it, but that is what it is coming to. And plenty of them will learn. They will not take chances with people. If when they take people money and they hear one or two of them went, they will change their attitude towards people. This thing is going on far too long. Poor people is suffering too long at the hands of attorney. They are suffering and they need to get addressed. Thank you.
That's very emotional. That.
Yeah, very emotional.
Situation. They understand what he said.
Yeah, it's understandable, but I mean,
you still cannot promote.
Well,
you cannot promote.
You're wrong with for your right.
Right, exactly.
Hello,
Just can you imagine if the gentleman had done something, what would have happened?
Hello. Yes, come on. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Yes, I'm here.
I have a situation going on for a long time, over 8 years.
Yeah.
Now, I have my documents in a certain lawyer office. I went to them, I tell them, my bishop have said to me, go there. When you're ready for the document, go and get it there. So I go. And Matt, for 3 years, they have me walking up and down. So I go to another lawyer. I pay her $100 for consultation. And then she said to me, I tell her, well, you know what? I've been going there for all those years for that document. I cannot get it. So if you can think them file a thing against them and ask them to give you the paper. She tell me, oh well, I cannot. I say, but wait, you are my lawyer, you're supposed to be representing me. So what I think I'll have to do with those people you have there, I must make a time to come and check them out so I can bring my case to them so that they can help me to solve my problem, because right now, Matt, I can't take it no more. A lot of people suffer in Dominica, Matt, and they're afraid to talk about me. I want to make sure I do things in the right way. and I want to go through with with any lawyer are willing to help me to get justice, because justice is not being served to me. And either some people, they figure that they have money, they can just shun you or do whatever they want you to. But a lot of people in Dominica right now, they're suffering because of certain lawyers in Dominica, what they're doing to them and just brewing them. But don't worry, time will tell.
All right, thank you. Thank you, and
You know what? Every story has about five sides.
Yeah.
You
Not
know,
only two, I always tell
yeah,
people.
about five sides.
Yeah.
So, you know, people give their story, and their position might be the accurate one, might be exactly what happened, until you hear the other side.
That's true.
And then until you hear the third side, and then until you hear the truth.
In journalism, we're told there are 3 and 4 sides sometimes. Now, somebody's asking my question: why would a lawyer need your bank account or your bank statement to charge you for the power of attorney? Why would he need to know what's in your account before he can charge you power of attorney?
I'm not sure. That would depend on the specifics of the instructions that the person has given to the lawyer.
Circumstances,
I am
but
not
we
sure.
know we charge for the work that is done.
Yeah.
And there's a minimum.
But not necessarily don't always have to ask for that person's
We
account
charge
number.
depending on what we are doing and the complexity.
But why would if some person want to ask about it, the account? That should not happen.
I'm not sure, Matt. I cannot comment on that. There's certainly not enough information there to comment on that. Matt, when a lawyer gives advice, we sit and we take instructions and we ask several questions.
Okay.
Several questions, because sometimes something may seem obvious or may seem, that this is simple enough, but when you really ask the questions, you realize, this is a complicated matter. So to say, why would somebody want their account number? I cannot answer that just by simply listening to that question. You would need all the information to know.
Maybe the lady
All
would
the
send me
facts.
more information. Matt, good afternoon to you and the 2 lawyers. I highly commend them for coming today. A special big up to Mrs. Knight. I know her very well. A lady with integrity. I have a question to them, particularly Mrs. Knight, as it relates to this burning and glaring issue of the birth certificate that was removed from the laws. Don't you or can you make a meaningful contribution in that circumstance? In conclusion, I need to suggest that the Bar Association make a big public meeting and advise the public on the issue and the way it should be, of course, takes on forcefully. We all know the implications for the people of Dominica. Why or what would you suggest in terms of this birth certificate?
I think they're really not the birth certificate, but the affidavit of identity that was removed. Yes. On
What's your view on that?
Well, I have my personal views. I cannot speak for the Bar Association. Every lawyer has their view.
Okay.
But it is something that as the executive we've spoken about and intend to do something. I think what really needs to be done is there needs to be some public consultation, some public discourse about it, about the requirements, So really, that's it. I wouldn't say much more on that.
Okay.
Because I'm here as the president of the Bar Association.
You represent all the lawyers here. Let's see if we can take a voice note here before we go. Hello, yes?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
My experience to corrupt, unscrupulous lawyers, Matt.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, my parents died, and out of the 10 of us, I was the one in charge of the estate, so I was selling the house. I consulted one particular lawyer. I wish I could call his name. We were talking back and forth and everything else. I gave him the price of the house. It was $250,000. Okay? He went to his office, did up the document, and he brought it back to my office. I was working. He brought me the document, and I took it from him, and I began to read it. And he said, no, don't read it, don't read it. You already know what we discussed. Whatever is there is what we discussed already. You don't need to read it. Don't bother with that. I said, no. This is a house I am selling. It's not my house. It belongs to 10 of us. I'm going to read it because I'm in charge of that. If anything goes wrong, so no, don't read it. Don't read it. You don't have to read it, man. So you don't trust me then. I said, it's not a matter of trust. It's just that I need to read the document. I'm selling a house that does not belong to me. Even if it belonged to me, I went to a church and the man told me 3 times, you don't need to read the documents. Man, $250,000. The man deleted a whole 0 at the back before the decimal point. $25,000. The man put on the document. So if I wasn't careful, and I had agreed just not to read it and trust him, sign the document, I would have sold the house for $25,000 as opposed to $250,000. Right? This is just highway robbery, unscrupulous volley. Let's put it in a local parlance. All right? So lawyers out there really need to do better. And people, if you have any matter in the hands of a lawyer, no matter friend or foe, read. Take your time. Don't rush because you cannot trust people. Right? I would have sold that house for $25,000 as opposed to $250,000. And he would have pocketed that and run away with it. Okay? Be careful.
Thank you. Good advice.
Making a valid point in terms of reading documents. You must read your documents, whether it's you're dealing with a lawyer, a business person, a real estate agent, insurance. You gotta read your documents, no matter
Especially small print.
what. No matter what.
And some. Go ahead.
Matt, I think people get aggrieved when a lawyer wrongs them. They feel badly about it, and you need to speak up about it. You want to speak up about it. Many times the good stories are not very sexy. When you have a very good experience and you've won your case and you've gotten compensation, it's not something that you necessarily are going to go call the radio station about and so on. But I see every day, where lawyers assist persons, get compensation for them, they vindicate their rights, stand up for them. It happens every day. They probate the parents' will so that they can get access to the property. All kinds of problems that lawyers deal with and assist people with.
Their birth certificate,
Everything. Change of names, affidavits in order to fix your name on your passport, simple things. A contract for your house, for renting your property, so that you're not in problems later on. We help you not to hire us later on, helping you to do a good contract. And I would say that by far and large, the majority of lawyers in Dominica do their work and they try to do it to the best of their ability.
You say 70, 80%?
85, 95%.
That's why I suspect you reverse
the percentage. I was saying to somebody just recently, they say people love their doctors, people love their lawyers.
Someone came in, give it that to her in her hand. Give that to her in her hand.
Anyway.
So, of course, as with all professions, there will be the bad apples. There will be the bad apples, and we do have to weed them out. I agree with that 100%, that they ought not to make it bad for everybody else. And for a lawyer, their prized possession is their reputation. Someone said to me yesterday, you can say I'm slow with your work. It's okay. It's all right. No problem. Say I'm slow with your work. Say you came for the appointment and I was late. It's okay. No problem. Do not say I stole your money. Do not say I stole your money. For that, most lawyers will tell you that they put their head on it, but they do not want their name to be called with that. Our reputation is our prized possession.
Do you think, somebody's asking the question, do you think that the CBI program is providing an avenue for lawyers to evade taxes in Dominica?
Yes, so that was one of the things that I heard on your program, that lawyers all of them want to be in the CBI, tax evasion, and all kinds of things. And I heard no evidence to support it. And we have to be careful with those things, Matt. When we come on radio, it's not our living room. It's not a bar. You're coming on radio speaking to the public. You cannot make unsubstantiated statements when you are speaking to the public. I understand if you have a grievance with a lawyer and you have all of your documents and you want to come on radio and speak about it, no problem, because you have your documents to support you. But when you have no documents to support what you're doing or what you're saying to the public, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. You cannot say that 80% of lawyers are evading tax and want to join CBI. This is dangerous and reckless, Matt. I will say it is reckless. And it ought not to have been done. I really hope that I do not see a repeat of it with any profession in Dominica.
Let's take a phone call. Are you there? 239, yes?
Yes, good afternoon, Matt. Again, now.
Yes,
Miss DJ, let me help her. I'm not a lawyer. What is based on what the person comes to the lawyer to do? Take, for instance, if the person comes to a lawyer to draft a will, now the lawyer must ask the client how much you have on the savings, how much children you have, how much land you have, if you have a big. So then it doesn't have to go on the document. So in terms of that dealing, the lawyer must ask the client about the account. That's it. Thank you very much.
All right, hello, talk to me. Another question there. I think that came up yesterday as well. To speak to the issue of the payment of a retainer versus deposits.
This is a deposit.
Yes.
Every lawyer, every lawyer has their approach. A lawyer may charge you a retainer fee, and a lot of times in terms of a company, you may charge a retainer fee for a year, wherein you give advice to that company throughout the year for that retainer fee. For an individual client, when a person pays you money, they have retained you. That is a retainer. So if they paid you a deposit, it's a retainer, really. And then the lawyer really ought to be upfront at the very beginning to tell you exactly how you're going to be charged throughout your matter, throughout the process. So that is very important. It's important for lawyers to know. It's important for members of the public to know that when you go to a lawyer, ensure that you know in advance, these are the fees that you are expected to pay. If something else comes up, what is the likely fee for that something else? So don't just start a matter and you're going along and you don't know. I would advise persons not to do that. Be aware upfront of what your fees are.
And if possible, get written statements so that you can refer to it.
Exactly.
All right, hello, talk to me. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Every minute is a phone call here. Yes, hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yes. First of all, I have the greatest respect for the legal profession and the lawyers, especially people like Miss Knight. You have some very good lawyers. You have some, and I like to debate those things on radio. But I'll tell you what, in recent times, I've had, as a retired officer, I've had several complaints, people coming to me about lawyer and how they think. There's a lady on the north, she had a problem over 7 years it took. And then when she was going to take a certain course of action, the lawyer gave in. You know, when they receive their oath, when they go to a call to the bar, and they give you all these nice glowing things that we will serve the state, we will do this. And I can tell you, some people have it hard. I know 2 persons who have had difficult time. So why is it is a noble profession? Now, and what I find it difficult, why is it that you don't want to have the act of it? In Barbados, this year, a lawyer went to jail. Another one is the bad. Trinidad, 3 of them were arrested. I mean, these are the people, you expect, I don't want to use that, you expect criminals, people to behave criminal, then you represent, But when you hear that thing happening from within there, I mean, I heard the gentleman on your something has to be done. Not everybody can think. In all organizations, yes, you might have things. But when you reach a legal profession, when you take a thing and this thing, and so sometimes I feel when people come to me, I tell them, well, try to go to another lawyer. Don't try to do anything negative or take lawyer. Go to another lawyer and try to see. A lady called me from the States yesterday. Oh, sorry. So yes, I respect the law. I know the law, the legal profession that well. But please, 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 a person, like me, if I was doing an investigation and I get 5 more cases, the client come to me, what about this matter, Ella? Madam, I'm sorry, I was dealing with this other thing that came up there and I delayed in filing the matter in the court, but it will come up soon. And you justify it, but so yes, I have this, but I respect the legal profession and I hope that law, the Legal Profession Act or whatever, they need to pass that. You need to have that. You must have regulations. If the police service don't have regulations, how if you don't have laws, you cannot legislate behavior per se. Or you need that there as a guide to make sure that these things don't,
I understand. I think his point is basically saying,
I agree.
Act quickly and let us pass this piece of legislation.
Yes. It needs to be passed. It does need to be passed. And I mean, even the most recent disbarment or striking out that took place in Barbados, the lawyer was actually convicted first. She was arrested by the police, charged, went through the criminal process, convicted, spent time in prison, and then she was disbarred afterwards. So, the options are always there. There's always, it's not that persons are just getting away with things. I heard Mr. Francis, when he was on yesterday, indicated a few lawyers have already been arrested for different things. So it is not that there's no recourse or there's no remedy.
Somebody's asking, why is the system so designed to defer lawyers for everything, whereas in the US I could facilitate most of what is required by a lawyer on my own?
That's a good question. I'm not sure specifically what they may be speaking about.
Anything has to
Like
be, signed by a lawyer, this and that. But in the US, the person saying, I can do most of it on my own. A different system, maybe?
I'm not sure. You can do quite a few things on your own right now. It may not be the advisable thing to do.
And the law allows you to.
Yes, you do not transfer your buying property. You can do it on your own, but
I brought up
it
the
may
whole,
not be the most
I brought up-
advisable thing.
I brought up the whole issue yesterday as it relates to banks using lawyers, that they choose and not basically the client's lawyer. Your view on that?
Yeah, that's a topical issue, and people within the bar have
For the
different
bars.
views. Yeah, we have different views. There are some lawyers' take is that the bank should be able to use whichever lawyer they feel comfortable with to protect their security. Because when you're doing a transaction with the bank is taking security. If it's your title that they're using, that's their security, and they want to be sure that everything is in order, so they're entitled to use the lawyer of their choosing. The other side of the coin is that, well, it's still the person's property. It's still the client's property. So the customer should be able to choose their own lawyer to protect their property. So it's a debate, really. It's a debate even among lawyers. It is something that we've already spoken with the banks about. Actually, we've spoken with the financial institutions. We get their point.
Okay, what's your point?
That's it. That they want to be sure that their security is protected at the end of the day. So they want to be comfortable with the lawyer that they choose. And we've been finding some workarounds to that. For instance, you can bring in your own lawyer together with the bank's lawyer. It may be at a further cost to you, but it's a possibility that's something that can be done. So we have to find a workaround and see how we can find some middle ground there.
I'm very happy that the lawyers are here. They told me half an hour, but they're here. And I'm happy. I'm happy.
Matt, we have work on our desk.
I know. But let's take one or two more phone calls and wrap it up. Hello, talk to me. Yes, are you there?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to your beautiful lady.
Yes.
One observation that I have is when a lawyer represents a client in court, in their absence, the matter is being argued too often in their absence. And I think that they need to buck up to represent their client in court as long as early as possible than to let the matter go 2, 3, 4 times and being adjourned. Another situation is, I think there are certain things that can be done here without a lawyer. I had a good friend of mine, I was a lawyer, and I sued somebody in a traffic matter, and took 3 consecutive times before coming to court, and I waived the lawyer's action, and I went to court myself, and I won my matter. I won my matter on my own because I said that was taking too long to come to court to represent me. So some of our things, especially if we abreast with the law, we can do things without lawyers. That's my observation. Thank you.
All right. You basically said you can represent some things you can represent.
Sometimes you can go to represent or to go to court with a client. Sometimes I prepare
That's your choice.
a file and I say this is what you can expect when you go there, especially if it's an area in the magistrate's court that I may not want to go with them. You prepare them.
Hello.
Or send them to
Hello, Matt.
Yes, I'm here.
Before Mrs. Diddy, I want to tell her thanks for the information. And Matt, you can see she's a person of integrity. She speaks in she's with no fear or favor. And she was brought up well. I know that. I know her parents. So you see what good home training, no fear, no favor, she's 62. Her parents must take her bow. Thank you, Alvin and Cisco. You brought her up well. Thank you.
A lot of commendation there for you. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Hello, good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, I know that there's a saying which goes, justice delayed is justice denied. A lot of people have cases all over 8 years and it's not been called. I don't know what is happening. So I'd like an explanation on that, please.
Can't explain.
Yeah, the system is slow. And again, it's not unique to Dominica. The system is slow throughout. I mean, I would always give people the story that I met a a lawyer in Barbados who told me they were practicing for 15 years and told me they had not gotten a trial yet. For 15 years, they had been practicing law and hadn't gotten it. It's not because they don't have cases, it just doesn't get there. And what we see on TV here in the US, that's not what happens of a matter. You have your problem today and you get before the court tomorrow. That doesn't happen, not even in the United States of America. The system, it's slow, it can take time,
and there are a lot of applications that may happen before you actually get your day in court.
You know, and the system has to be a fair one as well, to allow the litigants to bring forward the best case that they can and to allow the other person to bring forward the best defense that they can. So everything that is available to you under the law, you want to be able to take advantage of it. And that sometimes takes time. It does take time.
All right, let's take another phone call. We're going to wrap it up in a while because thank you for giving me some extra time. You have a lot of work on your desk. Thank you. I'm hoping you'll come back soon, okay? Hello?
Yes, good afternoon, ladies.
Yes, good afternoon.
This is Marlin number 1007, Boom de Touche. Matt, all I want to say, you must bring back the ladies back on the program bill because the line is very, very tight. Yes, what I want to say, I had a matter in the court. I paid my money to a lawyer. Every time I come in the court, the lawyer never there. The lawyer in the country doing other cases for big money. My money is small. So they adjourn the matter, the lawyer never there. And then when come for the case, I did my own case by myself. And then I went to the lawyer for my money. He told me that he will check his accountant, do not come back in his office again. So I told him I would put him on the radio. He told me he would sue me. So what they want me for the last call I was saying is like they're taking your money and they're telling you to come to court. And next thing, they're never there. And what the lady said about the young ladies, they are true. I wish them all the best. God guidance, rich and rich for the star. Never give up. May God bless you, protect you, guide you all through your life. We have some good lawyers, some bad lawyers, some